Very good afternoon everyone. In our previous classes we have seen different kinds of groups, categories that belongs to different kinds of kingdoms. So now we got an idea that to which category or a group that an organism or a plant or an animal belongs to, right? Let's keep them aside. So let's imagine something. So this is an image A and this is an image B. So I told you to identify what kind of image is this. So you identified it as a mango tree and you identified this as a neem tree. So how did you identify that this is a mango tree and this is a neem tree? By seeing external features. The study of external features of a plant is known as morphology. So there are two terms, morphology and anatomy. Morphology means the study of external features and the anatomy means the study of internal structures. So it's a completely different chapter we'll see after few lectures. So today or in this chapter we have different kinds of morphologies, like we will study about root, we'll study about stem, we'll study about leaf and inflorescence, flower, fruit and seed. So let's start with first one, root. So what is a root? So if we take a plant, the part which is below the soil is known as root system and the part which is above the soil is known as shoot system. Yes. So the root is positive geotropic, which means it grows towards the ground, and negative phototropic. So it doesn't matter if it has light or not, and it develops from radicle. Remember this. So the seed has two main units, a radicle and a plumule. The plumule develops into a shoot system and the radicle develops into root system. So this is positive geotropic and negative phototropic, and nodes and internodes are absent. So the nodes and internodes are present only in stem and they are absent in roots. So these are the main things that you should remember. And axillary buds are also absent. They are only present in stems. Coming to functions. So the main function of root is anchorage. Anchorage means it gives the support. Without the roots they cannot stand, right? And it helps in conduction. Conduction of water and minerals from soil. And in few plants, these roots acts as a storage unit. Storage. So our next topic is regions of roots. There are four main regions for root, and before going into that we must know that this end is known as proximal end and the bottom one is known as distal end, right? And the part which is present at the distal end is known as root cap, and this is present at the tip of the root. So this helps in the protection of root attacks. And the part which is above means the part which is proximal to this region is known as region of meristem. Here the cells divide. The region is very small, but it is one of the most important regions. Here the cells divide, and the region which is proximal to this region, from here to here, this is known as here the cells are divided. Here the cells grow. Just because of this reason, the roots are very long in nature. And the proximal region, which is above the region of elongation, is known as region of maturation. Here the cells differentiate and root hairs are present here. So the top part is known as proximal end and the below part is known as distal end. So remember these two terms, they might be asked anywhere in exams. So the bottom part or the distal end, we can see the root cap which protects the root apex, and the part which is proximal to it is known as region of meristem. Here the cells divide. The region is very small, but it is one of the most important region because here the cells divide. And the proximal region to this is known as region of elongation. Here the cells are divided, and in this region the cells grow. And the proximal region to region of elongation is region of maturation. Here the cells differentiate and we can see different kinds of root hairs, which helps in absorption. And why plants need modification? So, I'm a human. If I want something, if I want water, I will go there and I will drink. So if I am hungry, I will go to some other restaurant or I will buy some food and I will eat there. So what about plants? They can't move anywhere. So they are present in different states. Some are present in xerophyte conditions like extreme heat conditions, and some are present under the water, and some are present in the shady regions. So they adapt to those conditions. So they modify their organs. So here we have different kinds of modifications, but before going into that, we must know different kinds of root systems. So there are two main root systems: tap root system and fibrous root system. In the beginning, I told you that roots are developed from radicle. The roots which develop directly from radicle are known as tap roots. Here there is a primary root with lateral roots. So, for suppose, if this is a primary root, it has lateral roots. We can see this type of system in dicots. So, these are directly from radicle and it has primary and lateral roots, and we can mostly see them in dicots. And coming to fibrous roots, here primary root is short-lived. Primary root is short-lived, and roots are replaced by, are formed from base of a stem. Base of a stem. So it's like a bunch. So we can see this kind of system in monoplots. So there are two main different kinds of root systems are present: tap root and the fibrous root system. Tap root system, we can see that in dicots, and these are directly developed from radicle, and they have a primary root with lateral branches. And coming to fibrous root, the primary root is short-lived and it is replaced by different kinds of bunch of roots which which are developed from the base of the stem. And there is one more root called adventitious root. Adventitious root. So these roots are formed from any other part except from the radicle. Except radicle. So they can be formed from leaves, they can be formed from nodes, or they can be formed from any other part. Any part except from the radicle. They won't form from the radicle. So just now, previously 2 minutes back, I have told you that the fibrous roots are developed from base of a stem. So all fibrous roots are adventitious roots because their development is from the base of the stem, not from the radicle. Alright, remember this thing. So now let's go into modifications of taproot. Coming to modifications, we have different kinds of modifications. Let's start with taproot modifications. The first one is fusiform. Example, radish. So in fusiform means here both the ends are pointed. So if you see radish, how does it look like? So both the ends are tapered, but middle part is kind of bulging. So fusiform, it helps in storage. So we'll write that. And there is second one, conical form, which we can see it in carrot. How does carrot look? In a conical way, right? Like a cone. And the third one, lapiform. Lapiform, which we can see it in turnip. It's kind of bulgy in the beginning and it is pointed in the tips. This is how it looks like. So all of them are for storage of food. Storage. So all of them helps in storage of food. And fourth one, nodulated roots. So normally roots cannot directly convert the atmospheric nitrogen into a useful nitrogen. So they need some structures in it. So they develop some nodulated roots, which we can see them in peas, Fabaceae family. And the most important one, respiratory roots. Roots, or also known as pneumatophores. We can see them in mangroves. So if you go to Sundarbans or Koringa National Park in National Park, not a National Park, Wildlife Sanctuary, Koringa Wildlife Sanctuary, or if you go to Sundarbans, they are estuaries, the place where river meets sea. So they have both fresh water and salty water. In those conditions, the plants which live in those regions, they don't usually get sufficient oxygen in the soil. So they grow outwards. Here, these are, I told you that roots are positive geotropic, but here it is negative geotrophic. So if this is a plant, a mangrove plant, so the root, some of the roots grow outwards, and this helps in exchange of gases. So if the roots are present inside the soil and they are not getting enough amount of exchange of gases, then they will die, right? So that's the reason why they developed a different kinds of mechanism. They came out of the soil against the gravity and they started exchange of gases. So taproot modifications, fusiform, which we can see them in radish, and conical form, which we can see them in carrot, and napiform, which we can see it in turnip. And all these are helpful in storage. Coming to non-related roots, we can see them in Fabaceae family, peas or beans, which helps in conversion of nitrogen, atmospheric nitrogen. And coming to respiratory roots, also known as pneumatophores. And these roots grow against the gravity. Here we can see negative geotrophic. These are present in mangroves, and these roots are helpful in exchange of gases. And now we will see adventitious roots. Or raised roots. What happens in these roots is they develop a root from the lower node. So if we take this as a plant or a root system, the root is developed from the lower side of the plant part. Giving support. So we can see this kind of things in maize, sugarcane, and second crop or pillar roots. So I think most of you have seen banyan tree. How does it look? A big, it has some hanging roots. These are known as hanging roots. These are also helpful in giving support. And we can see it in banyan tree. See the difference between them. So you might be confused. Stilt or brace roots. Here the roots or the adventitious roots are formed from the lower part of the plant. This can be seen in maize and sugarcane. But here in crop or pillar roots, the roots are like pillars. If you see a banyan tree, like we can see like many hanging roots, and they are known as crop and pillar roots. They are helpful in giving support. Roots. Here the adventitious roots are formed from leaves. You can see it in bryophylla. And see roots. So here the roots perform the function of photosynthesis. So the roots become green in color and they help them in making food material. This can be seen in trapa. can be seen in Cuscuta and Viscum. They depend on, they suck the other plant parts and they get the nutrition. And hydroscopic roots. These are found in epiphytes. Epiphytes means the plants which are present on the top of the tree. Like in shady regions, when there is a dense forest, in the top of the trees which are at the bottom, they don't usually get sunlight. So what they do is they just develop into epiphytes, means the plants which grow in the top are known as epiphytes. And this can be seen in orchids. And they have a specialized valuable roots. So these are the main adventitious roots in our syllabus. There are many kinds of roots, but these are very important things. And in upcoming classes we will see about stem, modifications of stem.